Hey, my name is Melinda Russell, and I am obsessed with telling the stories of women involved in motorsports, young and older, from all walks of life, currently involved in a wide range of roles or sharing their stories from the past. I'm a wife, mother of 4 adult children, and a mama of 16. In 2017, I was searching social media for a group dedicated to women in motorsports. When I didn't find what I was looking for, I posted a message to a few racing pages to see if any women would like to connect with me. And now I have thousands of women and men who are part of the Women's Motorsports Network. As crew chief of the only media company dedicated to women in motorsports, I work from wherever my travels take me, publishing this podcast, the Women's Motorsports Network News online magazine, and Let's Talk Racing Live, my social media show. You will hear from women who share their stories from the grid of life, how they manage the messy and memorable moments of family, work, and racing. You will hear their tried and true secrets of success and many other topics like friendships, family, hardships, and heroes that women deal with to balance the seasons of life. So grab your favorite beverage, pull up a seat, make sure you are comfy, and get ready to be inspired and encouraged from the stories on the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guests tonight are a mother-daughter team, Amanda and Abby Morton. I'm excited to have them on. We've had a little bit of trouble getting connected for some reason. We're all busy, aren't we, Amanda? So
yes,
we're finally connected tonight. And Amanda, I would like for you to start, if you would, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your family. Anything interesting that we should know about you guys?
So I'm Amanda Morton. Live in Ohio, Lima. We're about a mile and a half from Cridersville, Ohio. I work in the school district in our area, and I have one daughter, Abby. Married to my husband Zane for 12 years, and we have a dog and about 15 rabbits.
15 rabbits. Wow, that's a lot of rabbits. And do you raise them for some reason, or you just have them as pets?
Abby raises them for 4-H.
Okay, I wondered about that. Okay. Well, Abby, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm in 4th grade.
And why do you like to raise rabbits?
Because they're fun animals to interact with, and you can join a 4-H club and meet new people, and I like showing up there.
Okay. Be careful with your microphone or whatever, because you're kind of going in and out with your voice. So I want to make sure everybody can hear what you say. So you're in 4-H. You never believe this, Abby, but I was in 4-H way along many years ago, but I didn't raise rabbits. I sewed and I baked, and I hated the sewing part. I had to rip out stuff so many times, and I still to this day do not ever want to have to sew. I think it burnt me out on it, but I love to bake, and that was fun. So you guys, you're involved in motorsports, mother-daughter. Tell me a little bit about that, Amanda. How did you guys get involved in motorsports?
I started 25 years ago. My dad used to help a guy drag race, and his son tried it racing a go-kart, and he's like, hey, you want to give it a shot? And I'm like, sure. So that I started racing. My dad quit drag racing with his friend, and we went racing.
Wow, 25 years ago. And so have you been racing all this time?
I've only taken really 1 year off, and that was the year I was pregnant with Abby.
Okay. All right. I thought maybe that's how she got her bug, is because she was in your belly when you were racing.
Yeah. Well, I found out I was pregnant with her shortly after the season started. So.
Okay. All right. And Abby, why do you like motorsports?
Speed.
You like to go fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what kind of motorsports are you involved in? What do you do?
Go-karts.
Go-karts. Okay. All right. And is that something that you've been doing a long time, or did you just get started? How long you been driving a go-kart?
5 years.
Wow, 5 years, and you're 9 years old. So you started
Yeah.
when you were a little tiny girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So what's your favorite thing about driving a go-kart?
Driving with friends and people you don't know.
Okay. So you meet new people. Do you go to the same track all the time, or do you go to different tracks?
We mostly go to the same track, but we travel around sometimes.
Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite track that you've been to?
Probably Liberty, Kentucky.
Liberty, Kentucky. And why is that your favorite track?
Because this is my first year gonna race it, and I get to watch. Well, last year I watched my mom and dad do it, and my dad thinks this year I'm gonna be strong enough to race that track.
Okay. So it's something you've been looking forward to, it sounds like, and you're finally going to get to race there for sure. Now,
Yeah.
what's your home track? What track do you go to the most?
Cartersville Speedway.
Okay. All right. And what about your mom and dad? Is that where they race too?
Yep.
Okay. So, Amanda, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you race? And apparently your husband races, so it's a family affair. What kind of cars do you guys race?
I race a clone motor, which is the adult version.
Okay.
Race clone super heavies, and mediums.
Okay. And then what about your husband?
He runs heavies and super heavy.
Okay. So you're going to have to educate me because I don't know that much about when you say heavy, super heavy. Those are different classes. I assume they have different kinds of motors, different kinds of rules.
It's all the same motor. It's just weight class difference. Like super heavies, driver has to weigh 200 pounds.
Okay.
Kart has to weigh 200 pounds.
Okay. All right. So what's your favorite thing about racing? You've done it a long time.
I'm going to say probably that adrenaline rush just to get up and be out there with my family.
Yeah. So
because my parents go every weekend with us. And
okay. I was going to ask you what other family members are involved. So your parents, and then do you have other like siblings or anybody else that goes? Okay.
I'm an only child, so it's just my parents and my little family.
Okay. All right. And is Abby your only child?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, and what was your husband did you meet him at the racetrack or
actually we were high school sweethearts. He tried to ask me out junior year and I said, nah.
You said no thanks.
Yeah, and then we got together a year after we graduated.
Okay. All right. And so, does he mainly work on the carts or do you all help out?
We all try to help, but him and my dad do most of it. They know set up and they know how to tweak them the right way.
Yeah, for sure. So what's been the most success that you've had? Success doesn't always mean winning the race. Abby, I want you to hear this too. Success doesn't necessarily mean that you win every race. We know that's never going to happen. When you look at a football team, they might win half their games or more. A race car driver is probably never going to win half their races unless they only race a couple, right?
Right.
So we know that the chances of us having more than 50% wins is unlikely, but there's a lot of other things that can make you successful in racing. So why don't you share a little bit about what you think makes a race car driver successful?
I think it's a lot of the determination. I went to Batesville, Mississippi when I was 16, qualified 11th and finished second. And I just felt like, I was against top-notch national event go-kart racers that, I've never raced against before. So that was a big, I felt accomplished that I could actually be in their level and right there with them.
Absolutely. And at that age, it can be intimidating because it can be a lot of older people that you're racing against.
Yeah.
And so
50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, I felt like, man, I really did this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So what, you race at the same track she does, but do you also race at other tracks, or do you mainly race there close to home?
We do a lot of traveling. Next year we're going to plan to travel a lot more since she has a lot more under her belt.
Okay.
This was her first full season where she was completely just able to go out and do her thing and not be in a younger division. She actually competed this year.
Yeah, that's cool. So have you won a race yet, Abby?
Yes.
You have? Wow.
I have won a heat race.
That's very good. Very good. And how did you feel after you won that race? Was that pretty exciting?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So that gives you some idea of how it feels to win a race. So you want to probably do a lot more of that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a lot of girls getting involved in all types of motorsports. Are there a lot of girls that you race against, Abby? And then Amanda, you can answer that as well, as far as women that race against you.
I've only raced against 3 girls before.
Okay. So it's mostly boys.
Yes.
Yeah. And in the races that you're in, is it an age bracket? Is it a weight? How does that determine who she races against?
It's an age bracket.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense for sure. Amanda, what about you? How are women involved in kart racing very much, or is it mostly men as well?
It's mostly men.
Yeah.
When I first started, I raced a powder puff class. I raced with 5 girls, and then that class just slowly dissipated, and you hardly have them.
Yeah. And do you think that's because of financial? They can't get the financial help. They get married and have kids, don't have time. Why do you think there's not as many women involved?
I'm really not sure, maybe different aspects. I know a lot of my friends that I know that I went to school with are like, why do you do that? That's a boy sport, or I'm too girly.
Yeah.
But
it's not a boys sport.
No.
That's what they don't understand. It's a race car driver. It's not a race car man driver. It's not a race car woman driver. You're a race car driver.
Exactly.
And so, I know we always hear, women involved in a typically male dominated sport. Yes, it's dominated by the men, but it's not a male sport. So what would be your advice to someone who's thinking about getting started in racing and they were a woman? What would be your advice to them?
Be confident and just have fun.
Yeah. You got to have fun, don't you, Abby?
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. Have you made friends with some of the boys that you race against?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And do they treat you pretty good at the racetrack?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, because I think things have changed over the years, that the girls are way more accepted now than they used to be. And so I think it's even more, it's more older people that have those preconceived ideas about women racing than the younger ones, for sure. Amanda, what about you? How are you treated? Are you accepted as just one of the drivers when you go? Because you've raced a long time.
I would say probably not.
No.
They gang up on you.
Do they?
I think they pretty much, they beat and bang just back, they give it back to you just like they think, oh, well, she can handle it if she's out there.
Yeah.
Be able to handle that.
And so what's your response to that? Like, let's say you're in a race and somebody ganged up on you or put you in the fence or whatever. What is your response to that, to them? Do you, visit them after the race and take it out on them on the racetrack and show them that, hey, you can't be doing this to me? What do you do to stand up for yourself?
Pretty much give it back what I got. Give back what I got.
Yeah. You almost have to, don't you, to get them to realize that they can't do that to you anymore. I have a young gal that races in Iowa, and she was having a lot of those issues, and she was a good racer, and the guys didn't like it. And so they would, beat and bang on her. And when she finally started beating and banging back, several of them, most of them quit because they don't want their cars messed up, for sure. Yeah. Right. So tell me, Abby, what color is your cart and what number is it?
Okay, so I have 2 carts. One of them is a flat cart, which is blue and red, and I race that cart, which is number 19. And then I have a cage cart, which is teal and pink, and that number is 19.
And how did you pick number 19?
It was mostly the year I started.
Okay, that makes sense for sure. Amanda, what about you? What kind of carts do you run, and what are your numbers?
I have a flat cart. It's a Hellion chassis. It's number 99, and it's a black body. Or nothing fancy yet this year.
Okay.
And
easier to fix if you have to, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's great to have all those fancy designs and stuff. I love looking at them, but if you've got to fix them, then it takes time, and plain black's pretty easy to take care of.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So what's your favorite thing other than driving the cart? Your favorite thing about being involved in motorsports?
I'm going to say, I guess, mostly, meeting the people along the way. Your friends become family. No matter what, that person can be your worst enemy, but they can be family too, because you're right there. They understand what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
They know how the racing life feels.
Exactly. Yeah. Because, we hear so often, and people that are not involved in motorsports, they don't get it. But the racing family can be very competitive when you're out on the track. But if something happens and you need help, or at the track or in your life, there's no better people than your race family to come to your aid.
You agree?
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that? Yeah. Have you ever had a situation where you had people come and help you with something and maybe surprised you a little bit that they did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are your hopes for the future, Abby? What are your, as far as school and a career, and then also about your racing?
Probably to actually finish first in a feature.
Okay. Yeah. And then what about school? What's your favorite classes in school, your favorite subjects?
I like reading, math, social studies, and science.
Oh, wow. You like almost everything then. And those are all really good subjects for a girl to get involved in. So what do you, I know you're only 9, but have you ever thought about what you'd like to do when you grow up?
Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian.
Oh, I love that. So I have a little dog. He's a Shih Tzu, and he's just the best. And I took him to the vet yesterday, and everybody in the office is female. Both of the vets are females, and all of the techs are females. So there you go. The veterinary profession is wide open for women. So I love that. And you've had experience with rabbits, so you'll be a good veterinarian, I'm sure of that. So Amanda, you said you work at the school, so
yes.
You must either love kids or you're ready to be home afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, what about your racing? You've raced for 25 years. It's in your blood, obviously. What is it that you still want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet?
I think, I've never finished less than 5th in points.
Oh,
wow. So it's just I drive to continue to want to keep that up. And I want to watch her success herself further into the racing.
Wow. So you have been a very successful driver.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. A lot of dedication, I guess.
Dedication, determined that you're going to go out there and do the best you can every time. What kind of advice would you give to other drivers? Not necessarily even just women drivers. If they really want to be a successful driver as far as points or championships, what does that take?
I'm going to say probably drive clean, set yourself. Don't be that over the head driver. I guess, my dad always tells me before I go out on the racetrack, be safe, have fun, and enjoy it.
Right.
It's not about winning every race. It's just be safe. That's the key.
Yeah. Well, and we have to have fun, right?
Right.
It has to be fun. And that's something that we have to show our kids that, sometimes when I get home from the racetrack, I think, what are those men thinking? Because it's normally men. What are these men thinking? They're acting like 2-year-olds on the racetrack, or they're running into each other and possibly hurting somebody. And I think, where did they lose the idea that this is supposed to be fun?
Right.
Right. And we have to remember that. We have to show the kids that are looking up to us that it's about having fun, being dedicated to something that you love. But yeah, I can remember a basketball coach one time. My daughters all played basketball, and I can remember him saying, well, you're not taking this serious enough. Freshman girls, they instead of crying, they might be laughing because they don't want to cry in front of the coach, right? And I can remember him saying to them, you're not serious enough about this. This is a serious game. And I piped up. I happened to be standing there, and I piped up and I said, well, coach, when it stops being fun, then it's time to stop playing. Well, that shut him up right away.
And my dad says that. He goes, when it's too much and you're not doing what you want, it's time to hang it up.
Exactly. So do you see yourself racing for a long time, both of you?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's something you do as a family. Yeah. Grandpa and grandma go along. And nothing better than being at the racetrack on the weekend with friends and family, for sure. Now, how are you still racing, or is your season over?
Our outdoor season's officially over. We're going to do Liberty, Kentucky.
Okay.
At Thanksgiving.
Okay. So that's an indoor race?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then do you have other indoor races during the season, during the winter, or just that one?
They have a couple other ones down there at Christmas and then January and February, but we'll probably end up finishing November and be done, get things ready for next year.
Right. You got to have some time off to recuperate, and then you've got to have time to fix the carts back up for next year, for sure. Yeah.
That, and she's involved with basketball in the winter, so.
Oh, yeah. So you do other sports at school, Abby?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do besides basketball?
I play basketball, which is one. Cheerleading. I want to play volleyball next year.
Okay. All right. That keeps you in shape. All those sports are good for you to be involved in. They keep you in shape for being a race car driver, for sure. Yeah. That'll keep your mom busy too, getting you to practice. And yeah, for sure. Well, ladies, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you would like to share with my listeners about yourself, your racing, anything at all?
I'm going to say I think it's pretty much that it's really cool that I get to experience my daughter racing at a younger age than I started and just watch her grow for a sport that I truly love, and to see her smile every time she's coming off that track. It's just that great inspiration to watch and see her grow into the sport.
Yeah. And nobody can ever take that away from you. That's something that the bond that you two are going to have, and your husband too, and the grandparents, that's a bond that nobody can take away from you. And you can't even really explain it to people about what that means to both of you to be able to do that together. So that's great. Abby, is there anything you would like to share?
a couple of weekends ago, I raced Fremont up in
It was Ohio.
Up somewhere near Toledo.
Okay. And was that fun to go there?
Yes.
Yeah. And did you do well there? How did you do at that race?
I finished second.
Wow, really well. Really, really well. Good
And
for you.
That was a surprise. My grandpa told me we were gonna sell my flat cart, but I said no because it was a surprise. And then my friend came too.
Oh, so your friend got to go along and watch you race?
He races with me.
Oh, he races with you. Okay. Well, that's a very special thing to be able to share that with your friends, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to be lifelong friends as long as you keep racing against each other for sure. Yeah. Well, I have really enjoyed getting to know both of you today. Amanda, I appreciate that you stuck it out and we were able to schedule this and get it recorded for sure. I just want you to know I'm proud of you ladies for leading the way in the karting world with your racing, and to encourage other women to join you and other little girls to join the karting, because every kind of racing is fun and there's all levels of it. You don't have to be a NASCAR driver or any of those, or a World of Outlaws driver. You can drive any kind of racing car, truck, whatever, and have a good time and enjoy the sport of motorsports.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for being on, and hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Good luck on Thanksgiving at your race, and please stay in touch with me so that I know what you're up to. And when you get your first win, Abby, I want you to make sure you let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.